good. Just gonna give you 5 seconds before every day that we have these meetings, I always have to make sure we are live. And we check some of the details in our telephone, so making sure everything is okay. I like to be 100% sure, very, aggressive with this. And I think we're gonna do this really quick. And we are live. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have another special guest from the city of Elizabeth, who is actually running for mayor of Elizabeth. Guess what? Last meeting we have, we were talking about how the mayor of Elizabeth was very aggressive against trucks in the area. And tonight we have something that thinks the opposite. But before we do anything, I want you to introduce yourself, your name and everything, because I want to say it right properly. I want to say it properly. So can you tell the audience over here your name and what makes you run for mayor of Elizabeth in a little small sentences?
Not a problem. My name is Jared Anthony Pietz. I was born and raised in Elizabeth and still currently live here at 29 years old. I decided to run for mayor because a lot of people weren't being heard. Our community wasn't able to do the things that we needed to do to get our city back on the right path. We all know 27 years of being mayor is a little too long. And the mayor really has to be there for the public and for the community in order to help the city drive to where it needs to be.
Good. Jerry, tonight, I know we have a lot of issues with the truck drivers, but before we go with the truck drivers, we were talking over the telephone about what makes you run for this. And you come from a background where you have family that is in the trucking industry, right. And we were talking about parking spaces for the trucks. And tell me what you think about this idea. Why is the measure that we have right now is so aggressive against trucks in period? And he don't want any of our trucks in the streets of Elizabeth when we are the one we supply everything for his city. We even give them money indirectly through the Port Authority section. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that? How do you feel about this?
Personally, I feel that if things aren't benefiting his pocket, he's not for them at all. And honestly, the truck drivers, before COVID-19, were a big part of our city, our state, our country, and are essential workers and deserve to have that opportunity and things to help benefit them. The truckers aren't asking for $1 million. They're asking to just park closer to home, have a lot possibly in the port, things of that nature can benefit not only our city, but our earth as far as the pollution. I know personally from family members being in the trucking business for years that you have to start your truck up early, and roughly, if I'm not wrong, 15-20 minutes.
That was before. Now you can pretty start like your truck, like your car, it will start right away.
The newer ones, yeah.
Yeah, and it will have the right connections. And this is the part that people don't understand. Back in the days, talking about the 80s, the 70s, we have trucks that were really polluted. They used to create a lot of pollution. Over the years, we have changed that. We have trucks now, they are very new, and they have special connections that can be plugged into their walls. So we can, through electricity, keep our engines warm. Correct. So as soon as we start the engine, we can keep going. So the pollution is probably 5 minutes until we build enough air to live it. We have an air leak in the truck, so anything to let the air goes from the air tanks. But now, the question is, they want us everywhere that we go. The truck drivers are the worst person that you can have, the enemies of the city, and I don't understand why. We have so much things that we've been doing for this community. We've been keeping the local business moving. Like a lot of the businesses, the mom and papa's businesses that used to be here are moving out of the state because of the taxes, because of many things. So Elizabeth was one of those cities that was really attacked by this situation, because Elizabeth was a major city for different factories. Correct. And now we don't have that no more. So I believe that in your campaign you said you want to do everything to bring back businesses, to help businesses produce. But at the same time, how do you feel about the campaign about keeping the people healthy in the areas? So, in other words, we want to work with you to make sure that all the trucks can help the pollution free. In other words, I think that we can create even a taxation for helping a little commission for the citizens of Elizabeth, so they can have a fund where they can come in and use that taxation instead of sending everybody out to other cities, which eventually you get the pollution no matter what, because we are next to the ports. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I mean, anybody trying to start up a fund to help people, especially whether it's pollution or anything, I think will benefit the community and benefit the people overall.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we want to try to do. We're trying to help you guys in every way, because we understand as a measure you have all the community that you have to take care of.
Correct.
I know that the city of Elizabeth, like I say, is leaving, all the major companies are leaving, and we have to create something to keep the companies, which is transportation, in the area. But how do you do that? What will be a plan that you can tell the people right now that if you become a mayor, how will you plan to do that?
As far as keeping companies here?
Yes, keeping trucking companies especially, which are, provide jobs, help the community with taxes and all this stuff. But we're talking about big rental spaces that you have in the area.
Honestly, I would love to go and talk to these companies and see what their concerns are. What are the actual reasons they're leaving, besides whether it's taxes or parking, like we were talking about before. Because drivers and these companies need to be recognized, and they need to be told that they are essential and that they do mean something to our community and all of us overall. Because without trucks, we wouldn't get anything. I mean, you saw during COVID-19, the truck drivers were out every day. Didn't matter, if they were sick or they weren't feeling well, they were out doing what they had to do to make sure that everybody else was safe.
And you know that the mayor of Elizabeth, and this is a fact, didn't worry about not even one driver. He was in Facebook talking about, the measures that the city is putting to help the community, but he didn't do nothing for the drivers. The drivers that were actually coming through their streets of Elizabeth, he didn't say nothing, not even here these some essentials for the drivers so they can protect themselves and protect our community. Correct. We are there bringing produce to all the factories, to all the stores, to all these distribution centers. We were the ones supposed to have all the essentials. Because if we were sick, we were the ones who were going to be sending all the sickness to everybody, spreading the sickness all over the place. And that's the part that you don't know, we didn't understand. Why nobody of our politicians locally and in the state level didn't worry about the drivers? Why nobody went in and have a community where we can say, listen, we have a container full of emergency supplies for you guys so you can protect yourself. And that's the kind of scenario where the drivers are right now. And if you become a mayor, you say you will help us fight that, and we will come out, and Elizabeth will be one of the first ones to come out when something like this ever happens. Let's touch wood and don't happen again. But you say if you get elected, that you will come out and help us in every way that you can to prevent from any driver to being sick in case anything like this happen again, right?
Correct. So like we spoke, I know IKEA owns that one property we were talking about in the port, and there's other lots. But we want to talk to these people who own these properties to see if whether they'll sell their property to the city or they'll rent it out to the truckers. And not to build a big building, but to have stations for you guys to plug up, as well as whether it's a small building for bathrooms, essentials, so that you guys can keep yourself safe. And because I know parking on the 1 and 9, whether you guys are trying to go to a store or anything like that, you guys get hassled. You're taking up space and things like that. So there has to be an equal medium. There has to be somewhere where you guys can go, whether it's to take a break, whether it's to just park and take a nap, because you guys do have the sleepers in the trucks, things of that nature.
Well, we have drivers that come from all over the nation. They have to come and utilize our facilities. They don't know where they're going, so they just follow the GPS. Once they reach to the port area, we are being thrown out by the Port Authority. It's prohibited to be in the area. You go to truck stops near the area, we don't have no parking spaces because everything is already clogged. We park in exits in the pathways, I mean in the turnpike, or we try to get out in usually 78 in the ramps to get out. We get targeted by the police and we get tickets. So we are targeted by everybody. So they want their produce, they want their essentials, but here it is, we can't even park in a big corporation parking lots that benefit from all the independent drivers that run all over the country.
Correct.
And this is the kind of situation that I'm very upsetting. For the people that don't know, we're talking about IKEA, the lot is off North Avenue, which for many is empty spaces over there, right? That they don't want to rent.
That's been empty since I was a little bit.
And I want to talk about something like this. This is the thing about being in politics that people don't see, don't know, don't understand. Tell us about the lot. How much is costing, or how much the state or the city of Elizabeth is giving to the IKEA people for free over the years?
Well, they're not the only ones, but IKEA has been getting tax breaks along with other big corporations because that's how we're bringing people in. I mean, if you're going to do that at the same time, having an open lot like that, you need to discuss with them, listen, are you going to do something with the lot? What can we do to help you do something with the lot? Because it's been vacant for years upon years. I mean, Amazon doesn't pay taxes. You got the condos that are being put up with 20, 30-year tax abatements. So there's a lot of areas that aren't paying taxes at all. And it's really hurting our community, people who are actually trying to move here. And it's not benefiting us. It's benefiting only certain companies. And if that's the case, why isn't it happening, and why aren't they helping all the big companies? Why are they specifically only helping certain companies?
And that's you see, the independent drivers, like you know, are being attacked, saying that we are corporations. In the eyes of the law, corporations cannot merge together. So we merge together to try to get some kind of assistance or something that can actually bring some extra income to our package. That's a violation of the antitrust. And that put us in a position that we can protect ourselves because we don't have a voice, okay? And that's, why we have so many abuses. I mean, let's face it, we have a situation where we go and deliver to these places. We mentioned big corporations, don't put not just one name, let's put everybody out there. And we see down there, we have to give them 2 hours for every container that we move. 2 hours to to pull the container out for free, 2 hours to wait once I get to that place to deliver, and another 2-3 hours to go inside and deliver the empty container. So in the day, they only has 4 drivers, 14 hours. For one container, we have to give 6 hours for free. That's part of the trade, which has been implemented for years, and nobody understands how that works. There's nothing in the books that say that we have to give 6 hours for free. And the ones that are taking the most advantage out of that is big corporations. And when we ask the corporations through this program to see if they can come out with some essential products for our drivers, nobody did. The only company that I want to say loud is Interchange. There's a company called, I had the name in my tongue. It was only one company from the ports that actually went after the COVID-19 and was handling some essentials to the drivers. And Integrated was the company. And I was telling you, it was sad to know that we servicing multinationals and we couldn't have anybody. The city of Elizabeth, who actually depends and makes a lot of money through all the companies that are servicing the truck drivers. You go to over here, Down Avenue, all these streets that are local to the poor area, they all have businesses, diners, and they all benefit from the independent drivers. So all those taxes go to Elizabeth. So that's what I understand. And that's something that I want you to say, and you campaign, you say that you want to do changes. What is the other changes you want to do for the community now that they're watching you? What will you say to them?
One of our biggest things as being a progressive Democrat is stopping the corruption overall. I believe you can't do anything overall without stopping the corruption because you'll be halted at one point or another. So we're going to attack the corruption, whether it's within the city, surrounding the city, that's going to end. We're also going to help make the city safe again. We're going to update our city cameras. We're going to add more foot patrols and different things to benefit with the community. Add psychologists to help out our dispatchers, because you know they go through a lot through one day, whether you know what call it might be, things like that. So they need to be supported, and they're really on the outskirts of everything, even during COVID-19. We also want to bring back after school programs that were cut due to funding, I would say roughly 4 to 6 years ago. We can't personally control the Board of Education, but we can try to team up and work with them. If they decide not to work with us, we have a lot of community centers within our city that we can operate with. But I also want to talk to the students and the kids throughout the community and find out what programs they want to start. Whether it's more sports, more activities, these things will help benefit our youth, our community. We also want to stop all of the condos being put up. Nobody in Elizabeth can afford them. Nobody can afford $2,100 for a 1-bedroom or almost $3,000 for a 2-bedroom. We're bringing in everybody from New York City, and we're not helping out our community overall. Another big thing is working to update our infrastructure. I know a lot of people, when it just drizzles, you see Trumbull Street floods. I know a lot of people who have lost cars, houses, belongings, just because of that. Our current administration thinks by planting trees is going to soak up all the water. Trees are great. It does help the city, it helps the earth, but it's not going to help save people's belongings, save our city. So we really need to update our mains. We need to update and speak with Pietz and update our plants, things like that to benefit everybody within our community. We also want to implement a program for people who have misdemeanors and small petty crimes that are trying to get jobs within the community or out of the community that might be their dream job, but they can't accomplish that because of their record. So we want to implement a program within the city, working possibly with our DPW for 2 years at a minimum wage. If they follow all the regulations and everything within that program and do not get in trouble, the city will work with them to expunge their record. Now this will give them the opportunity to continue to work for the city and become a supervisor or have another position, or get out there and get the dream job they want. This will give them the opportunity to get back into the community and be able to do what they have to do. We also want to do another big project, is build a building similar to a college dorm to house our homeless. This will be a 1-year program. Inside the program, it will have jobs. They'll be able to work inside, get them back acclimated into the society. Excuse me for a second.
And you see, tonight we also have Ms. Serena based in, so who's your manager, right? And her daughter Brita. So I just want to acknowledge, unfortunately, because of the space that we have here, they couldn't be here. But, you know, Serena, tell me a little bit, they're going to hear you. Tell me why you're supporting Jared.
I support Jared because this city does need a change. I've lived here all my life and worked here all my life. And I think overall, the community, we need someone that's going to come together and bring us on one accord. Like I said, I have all my faith in Jared because I believe, like him saying, he wants people jobs. We need to give back to the people that live here. Exactly. Give them jobs. Well, we would not have the crime and the things that are going on in this city if they can work here.
Well, let me tell you something. Talk about jobs, and this is what I was going to ask you, because this is the wonderful part about having people that are willing to work with us. Okay, a lot of people say, well, you never called me before, and I want to apologize if any of the politicians out there, we have a little conversations. But when I say that we haven't had the politicians coming to us and help us, is because we haven't. We don't have to go knocking indoors. They have to understand that they have a big community, and they never approach us to see what it is. Even though when we did demonstrations, they never approached us to follow up to see what happened from that demonstration that happened years ago. So for all the politicians that are out there, that's what I mean. I'm not trying to attack. I never went to your office. I never went to this. But, you know, if you have a big community that produces a lot of money in the area, you want to understand how they're doing, right? And nobody has reached to us.
He knows where you are.
Exactly. They know where we are now. But here's the situation. When we're talking about jobs, and this is something that we were talking before cameras, and I know that a lot of people are going to be watching this tomorrow and over the days, and we have something that's called almost 220,000 jobs are opening, are right now available for anybody that has a CDL license. Okay? We can help these people from the community, the people that have committed crimes, minor crimes, they can come in and get a job making good money. Okay? So we have the jobs. But here's the situation. Here comes the, why the politicians are needed to get involved. We have this bureaucracy in the insurance companies where they want to have people that have at least 2-year experience. Okay, so you go to school, and this is something that you probably know, but I just want to show the community how this works. You can go to any driving school, apply for a license, and get the training there. The basic training to pass your to get certified with the state and the federal government, that you have the knowledge how to check the truck, how to drive the truck, and everything else. Now, driving a truck is an experience that comes every day is new. I've been driving for more than 20 years, and every day I'm scared when I go to a different place. Because back in the days, when I started in 1994, the people used to have somebody knowledgeable of where you're going. So when you call the 800 number in the company directory, somebody was able to give you directions. Oh, take the exit 7, make a left, make a right. Now we depend on these little machines called GPS, which they don't tell you that they have a construction site. They don't tell you that the street's being closed because of any kind of situation. And when you get there, you get scared. So, or the GPS itself lose signals right where you get into the place. So this is the kind of scenarios that are any driver, independent driver or new driver goes through. So we want to explain, we need an organization like Port Driver Association to tell you what to do in case of an emergency. Talking about infrastructure, I have a money machine right down, I think it's Down Avenue. You ever see that bridge that say 12-0? I've been in this industry, in the drayage industry since 1994, and I was driving with my uncle who teach me how to drive since 1989. And the same bridge got hit, what are we talking about, more than 30 years now?
Yes.
The same bridge has been hitting for more than 30 years, daily, 3 to 4 times. It's amazing. The structure is amazing. But what really amazes me is the amount of money they're making out of that little bridge over there, which is in the wrong section of the street, because that doesn't say, we don't have warnings. The city of Elizabeth didn't put any kind of warnings, real warnings, for drivers that are out of state. And here's where it comes. That bridge say 12.6. And the drivers that work in the container ports, we have containers that are 12.6. In the state of New Jersey, 12.6 is considered a regular small box. Okay. The trailers that we utilize, the white trailers that you see all the time in there, 13.6. But there's a little loophole in the situation that I even spoke to the Port Authority, where in New York, they use the measurement from half of the tire up, and it say 12.6. And in New Jersey, we measure from the bottom, from the ground up, and it say 13.6. So when you come from New York and other states, New York is the only state that has the 12.6 sign. So when you come over here, you see 12.6, you see a truck in front of you going under there. And you think you're fine. Yeah. You think you're fine. And it's true, you're fine with the 12.6.
Just measure differently.
It's just measured differently. So when they go through there, and it's a moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
The city of Elizabeth knows that that's a moneymaker. They know that they've been collecting crazy millions of dollars over the years. Just for an accident there, it's about $20,000 to $30,000, depending how much damage is it. Because they have to bring towing trucks, they have to bring crews, they have to transload their load, and they got to pay for the bridge. You know how many times I think they pay for that little train section? Who knows?
Yeah. Same thing with the one on Elmora.
Westfield. But the thing is, the city of Elizabeth has neglected the independent, the trucking industry so bad. All they have to do is put a little chain on it. And as soon as you hit the chain, you know that something hits, break the change. What it costs? Maybe you get a slap in the hand, pay $30 for a plastic change. Exactly. But they don't do that.
It gives you the warning at least.
Yeah, they have a warnings in some places, in other cities. They put like a big horn, like if you go to the Lincoln Tunnel, as soon as you go through that, with technology now we have a beam. a red beam, electrical beam that goes in there. As soon as you pass that beam, the city horn goes, and you stop. How much that technology cost? Maybe a couple $1,000, but it can be done. But why do it? It's a money maker. You understand? You know how many millions? You know why the state of New Jersey is so expensive to get an insurance? Little things like that we, if you become a mayor, we can help you analyze those things. We can ask you to get those helps. Dig a little bit more. Put a sump pump like they do in other cities. Let that street become a 13-6. Help the community. Drivers don't know everything. We have a community that's surrounding the country from other states that come into this area that they need the assistance. You know what I'm saying? And for jobs, we can bring the drivers over here, get the proper training so they can understand what a 12.6 is in New Jersey, what is a 12.6 in New York, and keep the trucking companies that want to help us bring new drivers on, have trained, professional drivers already trained to educate these new drivers. So with the city of Elizabeth, we can create the first program to, instead of waiting 2 years, maybe we can do a 6 months training program, maybe with a minimum wage, and have all the drivers trained properly to be in the highways. Like I was telling you, back in the days, the reason they carry out these 2 years is because back in the days, all the products were supposed to deliver by hand. So truck drivers will have an assistant, the assistant will come and help unload. And as they go, they used to be with the driver, so they learn the routes, they learn the streets, they learn how to drive, and that's how they got the 2 years experience. Okay. Now they come out, get your license, you need 2 years experience. Where am I going to get the 2 years experience? I don't know. You say you went through that, right? Yeah. Tell me a little bit of your history.
So I'm also an EMT and a New Jersey State firefighter. And when you get your EMT license, a lot of people try to go to cities and other big companies to do EMS. Excuse me. And a lot of these companies won't take you without the experience. So people usually wind up going to transport companies, which we all know a lot of them have shut down over the years, but a lot of those companies won't even take new drivers or new EMTs. So you wind up going to a volunteer department and having to volunteer for years to get that experience to even have somebody say yes to accept you for a job. So it kind of goes back to
at least you can volunteer, but I can't volunteer to work because the insurance won't take me. And that's the sad part. We have an opening for drivers. Listen, our industry, I have to say that the Port Authority is trying to address this with the City of Elizabeth. They're trying to go to schools to have like a program to bring new students that don't have, for some reasons, the ability to go to college, to come into this dragage industry, which have a lot of opportunities for a lot of our communities. The question is, you have to know somebody.
Absolutely.
That starts with the corruption everywhere.
Okay, so you have to tell somebody why the Port. We have a Port Driver Association who's open to work with anybody. We don't belong to any unions. We welcome. We want to have. Listen, right now in one of the companies that I manage, we have an opening to train a guy to work with trailers. We have a worker for inside the workhouse to clean and to learn how to properly load a container or trailer, because you have to know, if you go to the scales, they have to be properly loaded. Okay, we have a training opportunity for secretarial and to become a dispatch for loose freight, which is completely different than container work. And we have all these openings, we can find people. Now, if you go down the street in Elizabeth Avenue, you see a whole bunch of people looking for jobs, because I found one looking for a job in the auto parts. They went and I grabbed the guy and helped him to come into an industry. But why do we have this necessity when we have companies that can come over here, right into this organization, and help these people get a job?
Absolutely.
Why is there nobody want to talk to us? Why? I mean, we have an industry that can make decent wages. And you can get decent people to go to a next level, increase their education, increase their acknowledgement, and have these things. But you see, the Port Authority have all these things, but they want to go to schools and all this stuff. But what about the people that are looking for the jobs? The people that are the parents of these kids, they're still going to school. Why can't we help those people?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is what I want to do with the City of Elizabeth. I want to make sure that the Port Driver Association goes to people like you from the city where we live. My daughter is in the school, goes to the schools in Elizabeth. I'm the one that's been working here all my life. I know the pollution. I'm very upset of the pollution, and we want to change that. Nobody want to be driving an old truck. You know, we have to do some changes so we can all benefit.
Correct.
Okay? Why are we going to pay $300 in parking spaces in places where they have dirt? In wintertime, we can't even move our trucks. When we have places like you say, IKEA, if we have a city of Elizabeth we can work in agreement to create spaces for drivers to properly park there. And maybe, like you say, you mentioned something that caught my attention, have a place where we can wash our hands. I always say this, $3 billion and more we're spending in infrastructure in the poor area. Not even one penny was spent to fix the bathrooms in the places. And we only have 2. And out of those 2, only 1 is
Working.
something that you want to go and use.
Yeah.
Why can't we have a nice cafeteria? We can create jobs right there. Nice parking space for the drivers where we can put all the things that they need. And we can set up a proper area where trucks from other states can come in, park their rigs, and wait for the next business day without worry about getting cold, because they can go inside the building, they can shut down the trucks, and we're in a cafeteria that can be open 24 hours a day, and stay there. So they can take a shower, okay? So they can be treated like humans. Why are we always have to be chased by police? You know, and this is the kind of scenarios that, you know, it really bothers me that the cities that we support with our taxes, that I support because I live in Elizabeth, I have my office in Elizabeth, why are we treated like enemies? Why are we treated like second-class citizens? We are essential workers.
Absolutely.
And nobody want to press any attention to us. And this is, you know, a lot of people say, they may say that you're too young for that. What would you tell the people that you think maybe you're too young to do this? What give you the experience? Tell them exactly what kind of experience do you have so they see it, because this is something that's reality. We want to make sure that we want to have somebody that has, you know, some knowledge and understand the community and want to do things. But what, if you can tell in your own words, explain how you know, how you already feel like you have passed and learned a lot from the city, and that give you the knowledge for you to run as a major.
I've actually gotten that question a lot. A lot of people say, well, you're too young. Why didn't you start off as a council person? Why would you go for mayor? And I actually love those questions because I'm able to explain like I am now. So I didn't start off as a council person because, like I spoke before, I believe there's too much corruption in the city, and the only way to crack down on that is to start from the top and work your way down. Now, as far as my age, like I stated, I'm a New Jersey State fireman, New Jersey State EMT. All my jobs since I've been, I think 14 or 15 I started working, have always been helping a community or helping people out, whether it was being a lifeguard or any of my jobs. So I've always been in the industry of helping people and doing everything possibly that I could, whether, you know, somebody needed help with one thing or another. And over the years, I've seen too much happen in our city, and people aren't heard. I mean, it could be something as little as fix a road downtown that hasn't been paved since before I was born, but uptown's being paved, you know, every 2 years. And those are just little examples. So it's just being able to hear everybody out and being able to do things the right way. And not just because you know somebody or, you know, somebody else knows somebody and you have a connection. You know, things like that need to stop. We need to hire the right people for the right jobs so that we're able to do the right things and we're able to help out our community the right way. People think I don't have the experience. How can I run a budget, things of that nature. Like I said, I've been working since I was 14, 15 years old. I pay my own bills. I have a house. I have cars. I help my family out. You know, I'm very responsible. I've gone to college. I've gotten degrees in criminal justice. And I never stopped my knowledge. Like I said, I went to EMT, fire, continue to get new certifications. And all my jobs right now is I'm helping the public. And while I'm running for mayor, it's actually been a great experience because I've been able to sit down and talk to people from all parts of the city, whether it's downtown, midtown, uptown, Oakwood Plaza, Moravlack Manor, and being able to go into areas and treat people the way that they deserve to be, showing them the respect that you want to respect back as well. And I think our leaders haven't gone anywhere besides Uptown to really even hear anybody's concerns or what's actually going on. And people take that to the heart. You know, you going over there, whether it's spending 5 minutes or the other day I spent a couple hours talking to a couple of people just in one spot. People just want to be heard. They want to know that, you know, you're there and you want to do something to help. I know a lot of people have said, well, you know, you have a lot of ideas. How can you get all that done in 4 years? Or how can you get that done in 2 terms? And basically, the first day you're in, you need to show that you're starting progress on things. Will things take time? Sure. Some things can't happen overnight. But the fact that you're able to start to implement things, bringing things up, starting investigations, you're able to show that, hey, look, this is what we said we were going to do, and we're jumping right into the pool and doing it. And that's what the public wants to see. That's what everybody wants to see. Like I've been told, and I'm sure many people have been told, Rome wasn't built in one day. But every day they put a new block to continue to build Rome, and one day it was completely built. So that's what we want to do in the city. And it's going to take step by step, but I promise that every day we're going to be working and showing that we're building to the goals that we need to be.
Well, I have a question from Mr. Michael Lopez, which is
Nice
good.
to meet you, Michael.
He said, can you ask him if he has any plans on improving infrastructure in the surrounding poor area of Elizabeth, near the Jersey Garden Mall intersection specifically, as it pertains to traffic patterns and the overall quality of the roads? That's a good question.
Very good question.
You see?
This area, certain parts are Port Authority, certain parts are Elizabeth. But as far as the roads themselves, our plan is on day 1 to start to make a list on roads that need to be paved right away and roads that can wait a little bit, and that's throughout the city, not just Uptown, you know, roads that need to be fixed right away. As far as the infrastructure, the pipes underground, things like that, that's going to be one of our main concerns. As far as the lights and intersections, we will have to speak to contractors and engineers to figure out the way as far as the patterns and the driving abilities and the directions, things like that. So that we would have to speak to somebody a little higher, but we can definitely look into that.
And this is something that really happens in reference to the parents. You know, the way the traffic moves and all this stuff. And we have, since 9/11, we're all familiar with that, unfortunately. One of the problems that happened is North Avenue was so congested. I mean, we have emergency exits from the ports, and we have to work with the Port Authority, with the City of Elizabeth, to create a program so in case an emergency like that happen again, we can sit down a place in Elizabeth where we can send all the trucks in case of an emergency. You never know what can happen.
Right.
But so far we have an emergency exit route in the port area that you will see signs, but I follow those signs and I don't know where they take you. Because nobody has the advantage to come in and do a class or any training to show you. So if you talk to any of the independent drivers or any of the company drivers out there, where will you go in case of an emergency occur again? They will say home. And what happens is when you have these emergencies, 3 trucks can really clog up one night. So this is why it's so important that the City of Elizabeth comes in conjunction with the independent drivers and all the port industry in relation to create a program that can educate drivers, create an infrastructure with the ability to meet with the Port Authority. They have to do these things and show us. And that's why it's so important that that place, Jersey Garden Malls, I understand it. Pollution. Talk about pollution. You're talking about pollution.
I mean,
Jersey Garden Mall, I mean, it was created for what purpose? I don't know.
It
Because
was built on a landfill. So
it's a landfill, and the amount of pollution that we get with all those cars that come over here on a daily basis. Nobody talks about that. But let's say that we want to help the businesses, we help the community, we create jobs.
That's a money maker.
Okay, but it's a money maker for the community. Okay, let's say that we have that. Why after 12 we can create a space for truck drivers to come from nighttime?
Absolutely.
leave those drivers there from 12 to 5 to leave there with the rigs off so they can go home if they come from other cities, or actually it's just for the people that come from other states.
Well, UPS was using the parking lot
Well,
while their building was being built.
Well, that's the scenario. Multinationals,
So
corporations, big corporations get all these kind
perks,
of breaks.
all the perks.
Yeah, all the perks. You're right. And the independent drivers, the little
little
community, we get the boot in our wheels.
Absolutely.
We get the trucks. The city of Elizabeth is known from towing trucks away from the areas.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish that money goes at least for the city. It doesn't go for the city of Elizabeth. It goes for the towing companies.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the kind of scenarios that's really bothering me. This is why I want you to say to this public, if you get elected, you will do everything in your power to make sure that this community of truck drivers, independently or not independent, all the trucking industry is going to be sitting down at a table to come out and realize what we can do. Because it's not fair for us to be fighting like chickens with no head, trying to go to these places down in South Courtney, where the traffic becomes a nightmare, and 109, when we have empty spaces sitting right next to the port. That's amazing. And the thing is, the city's not even making a penny out of those. How many years you say? 30 to 40 years in those areas that you haven't collected any money? Why are we giving these multinationals all this money, these corporations all this free gain? Why are we allowing that kind of stuff? Who is doing this? Why they don't think about the community that's creating jobs daily?
Absolutely.
The people that are coming into a store and buying a soda. How many of those guys that run these multinational, these corporations around the ports come and buy a soda from your grocery store down the street? You tell me that.
There has to be a change.
It has to be a change. You're right. And I think that you want to have a change. That's what you feel.
I definitely want to have a change.
Yes.
Definitely.
And as far as like you were talking about, as far as like if there's an emergency, things should have been put out as a flyer, or there should be an app. There should be something to where, God forbid something happened, everybody meets at the mall behind a movie theater, or that's over here. That's considered like the safe zone, or something in that nature. Because to not give out anything, and you guys are in the port, you guys are in all those areas, and those are high areas for terrorism and things like that. There should be something in place, not just signs up to where you guys don't know where you're going.
Unfortunately, I've been fighting. We have people die in the 8 p.m. terminal a couple of months ago. Okay, this news is. I'm not trying to put down 8 p.m. It's just happening. Accidents happen, but the majority of those accidents could be prevented.
Correct.
We've been fighting for years, for decades actually. I've been a community activist for the port industry for 20 years. Okay, I've been trying to bring acknowledgement. I sit down with the people, and the only answer I get every time I say something, we don't have the funds. We can let people die. Eventually, it's going to be a lawsuit of millions of dollars, but we don't have the funds to prevent that. That's the kind of situations that we are facing. Okay, because of the lack of understanding of the industry. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have made some changes done by studies that were put out there, where a young kid from college comes and asks you a few questions that they think it will change things, but they never come and ask the drivers what they really want. Have you seen that we have an area where we don't even have a place where we can get a nice coffee? We have a street where we put all the lunch trucks next to real danger, because the streets are very narrow for the traffic we have, and we take those chances. When we can have all those nice businesses, which are, the lunch trucks and all that stuff, we can put all those places in a nice route. You know that once you like a place, you're always going to turn in there. So all these things can be, just by coming to the community and understanding what their needs are and where we can find them, working with us, we can create these nice, safe places for everybody to be safe. A lot of the poor industry inside, the terminals, they tell me they can't put restaurants there because safety. They don't want to have people walking there because too much traffic, and I understand that.
True.
So, okay, it's something understandable, but here it is. where you gotta go. There's nothing out there. They have a nice Siemens church inside the course, which is for safers. They go in there, but it's not truck space for parking. So we can't even utilize those facilities. We have to park in the corner and make sure that we don't get a ticket. And this is the kind of scenarios that, you know, I hope that if you get elected, and I hope you guys are listening up. I know a lot of you guys are always complaining that the city of Elizabeth is actually throwing you out, that the city doesn't do anything, it's giving you tickets, it's making your life miserable. Now is the time to come out and say, hello, here we are. All of you, I know a big community of drivers that live in this area, purchase homes in Elizabeth, thinking that they can park. All these scenarios, and like I say, I understand that we want to have pollution free. Believe me, we're going to do that. We're going to help the guys. But if you have a big parking space in a street is commercial, why the guy cannot park his truck in there? If you have 10 trucks going day and night in that street, why is that truck cannot be parked in there? I know, oh, it's pollution. If the guy connects his truck, it's not going to be pollution because he's going to start the noise. The trucks that we have now, they don't make any noise. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't have those righty trucks that used to be in the 70s and the 80s. They would go. We have trucks that actually are noise free.
Listen, you taught me something now.
Yeah, so, but this is
a learning experience.
And that's Serena, that's where I wanted to make sure that people understand. You see that they see all these big rigs and they think that we are
absolutely
crazy with money. It isn't, and you know, you see all these rigs. You have your family. You say your mother actually works in the industry or worked for a long time with the companies. They work, is still working in the industry. And this is the scenarios that we're seeing, you know, that nobody's pressing attention to these companies. We are giving breaks to multinationals. We are giving breaks to big corporations. We are setting up 10, 20 years of tax-free for everybody that wants to come and do business. But the only people that haven't left this area and are not going to leave because the person are not going to go nowhere, we don't get a break. Why? We don't ask you for money. We don't say, oh, I don't want to pay taxes. We don't say that. We say, hey, give us an extra tax for pollution. And we park our trucks there. Okay, you want to park your truck there? We're going to charge you another 10% of taxes for your truck for pollution. That's going to be a fund. So if anybody gets sick because of the pollution, we can utilize that fund for helping you out with the bills. Why can't we create something? You know, if we don't want to pay for a parking space, we're saving $300. You can pay maybe $1,000 at the end of the year for that fund. So you can help the community when they need it. You have a nice chunky fund. Nobody thought about that.
No, because if it doesn't benefit the current leader's pockets, they don't want to hear it. I mean,
it's something that's
you into that politics. I drive a truck. People say you drive a truck. What you do, you know?
It's similar to like you were saying, like as far as the port, you know, somebody can get hurt and there's going to be a big lawsuit. I mean, we all know Elizabeth has had many lawsuits, but at the end of the day, whether the situation in Elizabeth or the port, whether they're right or wrong, they'd rather do a payout because they don't want their name in the paper. And people don't understand that payout, you know where that's coming from. That's why your taxes are going up the next year because they just paid $4 million for ABCD. Even though the person who was involved might have been right and they won't fight it because they don't want their name in it. But obviously if the person's wrong, they're going to pay out regardless. But we have to stop those things. We need to make things a lot safer. And, you know, honestly, if we have to fight something in court because a situation happened and the person's right, we're going to do it because, A, the person was correct if we do the investigation right. And in the end of the day, we're not upping taxes. By just handing out money because something happens, now you're really messing up the whole entire community, but again, except for the people who are getting tax abatements.
Exactly.
So,
but this is the scenario, guys. And at the end of the day, we have to start getting out and vote. A lot of people say that you don't have a chance, and I want to prove them wrong.
Absolutely.
Okay, my good Miss Miranda, am I good with that stuff? We want to prove them wrong. You know why? We want to take those people that are arguing against the industry that support them to say goodbye.
Yes.
Because it's about time that somebody come in and stand for us and fight for us, because we are not going to go nowhere. We are going to be here, we're going to stay here, we're going to work here, and we're going to live here. And we want to be here, you know, we want to be here for the next 20 years. And for the regardless of that, I hope I can make 20 years.
You'll make another 100.
I hope I'm 20 I will do fine. But you know, I have my daughter, my family is here, and my wife, and everybody is living in Elizabeth. We love it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hate about Elizabeth. You know, we are close to everything. And I know there's a lot of people from the big cities coming over here. We want them to be safe. Like I say, I don't have nothing. I hear you. You know, when people come in and they talk to me, they say, oh, the trucks pollute. I say, listen, that's an assumption that's wrong. You know, if you go into the Jersey Garden malls, you see all kind of cars in there. They sit in there for 3-4 hours waiting for their wives to go shopping and all that stuff with the trucks and the cars running. And nobody says nothing about that. And that's the thing that bothers me, because you see a truck sitting in there because the guy goes and trying to get a lunch and then he gets a ticket because he wasn't parked properly. Right. So this is the kind of scenarios that we face in Elizabeth. You know, we are very chased by the police sometimes in the areas of Elizabeth because of, you know, I think that we have a big sign that says, want to make money? Come over here, check with us.
I think that's it too.
Yeah, so that's...
people that,
And like I say, we have a lot of scenarios that we can control, and hopefully you guys, you know, I hope once you become a mayor, you can come in again to this office. Listen, this to overall what we did. Right now, we changed everything, right? We have changed, we have talked about jobs, we have talked about pollution, we have talked about how the industry can benefit, right? Everything is ready. All we need is to have your place.
People to vote.
Okay, so
make sure you vote.
Thank you for all this time, and I know that we always have to end to an end. And I want to talk to my helper over here, who's always here, Lucy. How are we doing everything in there? How you like everything over here? Everything was fine, right?
Very nice.
Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. If you guys come and vote, this is what we're going to happen here. People, they are going to come, talk to us, and eventually help us in every way they can. So please, don't forget, say your name again one more time. I don't want to say it because it will sound, you know, the Spanish way. I want to make sure that you say it right.
Jared Anthony Pietz, currently in column A, so make sure you send in your ballots. If you haven't sent in a ballot and you have a disability or want to go and actually vote in the one location that we have in our municipality, you can call the Board of Elections. They'll give you the exact address and set up an appointment. That will be on July 7th. So make sure your ballots are mailed. I would say ASAP. They are taking ballots that are mailed as long as they are postmarked before July 7th. But the sooner you mail it, the better.
And that's something that I want you to do. Get the ballot and just make sure that you utilize the only thing that we have for free and still in this country.
Yes,
correct. You vote.
You vote.
Okay. I mean, I have different candidates for different places in this office, and they all have something that they agree from the left and the right. They all agree that if we don't get our voices out there, if we don't get together, changes will never happen. It's easy, and this is, I'm being repetitive because we have a lot of Spanish community, minority groups, that they are very skeptical about if the politicians are going to come through once they get elected. For those people, what do you want to say?
I have one motto. If you tell the truth, you'll always remember the truth. If you tell a lie, you're going to forget the lie. So everything that I speak today, everything that I've spoken throughout this election, everything that I'm trying to do, you will see start to happen from day one. We will have meetings like this on a regular, with whether it's being here or with the community, different areas of the city. Because even though we have plans, we still want to sit down, hear from people, what exactly they need to be done, what can make their area safer, what can we do for the community, the children, the teachers. We want to work with the Board of Education and truly help our teachers, because our teachers, in my opinion, are completely underpaid. They're here to help support our youth and help them grow, and they're going to be the new generation, not only in Elizabeth, our county, New Jersey, and our country.
Yeah, you see, guys, you have a young fellow that is trying to help you bring changes, and we need to understand something. We need new blood coming into the city.
Yes.
We need new mentalities come in and understand the community, the working community, the one that is struggling to make a living. You know, we have already scenarios in California where people are living in tents over there, right in the middle of the street. Elizabeth is becoming those kind of cities again. We don't want that to happen to our residents. We don't want them to be there. The rents are going crazy. And if that's going to happen, we want to make sure that we create jobs and give the opportunity to people to get jobs that can afford the rents that we're going to see in the next couple of months. We can't continue giving these incentives to these condominiums and try to make sure that the people that live from outside that don't spend any money here, they don't even want to be here, they just come and sleep and they go at night time.
Yes.
And that's another biggest thing that I wanted to just talk about real quick, is we want to stop the taxes from rising day one. And things like that we're going to be able to do that with is being able to start departments to get grants for our departments, whether it's fire, EMS, police, our city. And that will take off a lot of pressure off of the taxes. On top of that is the condos that we talked about, the tax abatements, stopping those. I mean, we want to get a developer in this city that truly sees our vision, and we'll work with them throughout the process. So it's not going to be jumping from developer to developer like they're doing now. And that's why developers want this tax abatement, because they want to make that extra money, because they know, well, I'm only going to have one building, I'm not going to have multiple. So we want to make sure we stop that. That will be able to help us level out the taxes and then work on our rent control. Rent control is actually up in December, and they have not decided on how they're going to restructure it. We want to restructure that as well. But if we are able to level out the taxes and slowly, little by little, start to drop them, we'll be able to put rent control in place so that people are able to know that they'll be in that home for years to come, and not worry about where am I going to be next year because my rent's going to go up $1,000 or $500. So we really want to make sure that we're there for the community and the everyday working person.
And that's true. We want to make sure that he is there for the community. Yes. So that's what we want. We want to make sure that he is in that chair in the major office, helping the people, the community, and all our industry, which is transportation. And we want to send with this a big message to all the people that are sitting in office right now. They forgot about our industry, they neglected our industry. If you don't want to help, believe me, we're going to be working. This is the first year that we're doing this kind of campaigns, and we still running. But once this wheel runs, believe me, we can pull 80,000 pounds of weight. Once we have our trucks running, we can put signs in our trucks. So don't worry about it. This is only the first year. By next year, we're going to be more powerful, more organized, and we're going to make changes daily because you're going to see the faces of the candidates in our trucks, and we're going to be driving by your window every time. Why? Because we deliver everything in the city of Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
So think about that before you start forgetting the working class. Think about that before you forget the people that work in the poor. And like I say, don't forget to vote. But everything has to start now. Start voting, start coming out, support the candidates that we're bringing in here. Why? Because they are the ones that took the time to come into this little office, took time out of their agendas to see what is your problems, you know, parking spaces. Guys, you're talking about parking spaces. You are the one that are sitting for 2-3 hours waiting to get inside these parking lots that we have available right now. Why we have to spend 3 hours? Why we have spaces that are completely empty that we can park in our own core area? Why is the people that come from other cities have to start driving around looking for parking when we have empty lots that can prevent them from going around, that there are no use after 12 o'clock at night? Why do we don't have a measure that has the ability to make these protocols where all of us can be taken care of?
Well, he does have the ability, it's just he doesn't do it.
He don't want it. He told me in the telephone call. Remember that?
He answered your phone call?
Oh yeah, he did. He called me back. I gotta give you that credit. He called me.
Okay,
He said,
okay.
He called me and said, I don't want nothing to do with trucks. I don't want trucks in my street. Thank you for calling. He did say that. Okay, so I gotta say that. He called me back, so I gotta give you credit for that. But at least he called.
Yeah.
But guys, Thank you one more time for being
Not a
here,
problem.
Jordan.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it.
Serena,
Appreciate
you're
all
the
the
manager
support.
of this young fellow. You are out there singing, nobody's watching you, but I want everybody to hear your voice. Tell them exactly why you want him to be the manager. Why are you, before you go, you are the one who's supporting his campaign, you in your own words.
I'm supporting him because I want to see change.
Change.
It's all about change.
Change. You see, guys? That's her manager. One day you're gonna meet him. Put this man in office, and you make sure she will be there to tell you.
Absolutely.
One more time, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
you.
being here.
Thank you for having
This
me.
is your home. When you become a mayor, remember we can
Definitely.
create programs. We can work together. We can help each other, and we can help the community. Because that's what I want to do. Help the community get right away into jobs. We have a lot of trucking companies. They would love to have people from the city of Elizabeth. They have job openings that we can work and network to have apprentice jobs over here for the young fellows. And we have jobs that can actually pay their bills if they need to for the older ones. So we have a community that can produce a lot of income for the people in Elizabeth. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Guys, thank you for taking
Take
the time
care.
to write, and have a nice evening.